Hey everyone, welcome back. I am the Electrical Code Coach, and this is Electrical Trivia, where your answers are probably right and our judges are chimpanzees. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Today we're going to learn about 5 different types of ways to drive ground rods, and we're going to be using this as a lesson. So let's go ahead and take Sledgehammer for 100. And the question is, how many pound sledgehammer should you use? This is a great question. And is a sledgehammer a good way? Let's look at it now.
What we're talking about here, we're talking about your standard sledgehammer. Shout out to Lowe's and Cobalt on this one. But I've got this one set up here in essentially virtual reality, augmented reality. And what this is it's got the polished front, it's got the beveled back, and this is your standard 10-pound, 36-inch height sledgehammer. I thought this would be a pretty cool way to look at it. And regardless if you use one of the other methods that I'm going to teach you in this video, you're still going to want to bring your sledgehammer out of the truck because, not all these methods are foolproof, and often you have to do a little bit of extra tapping before you get all done. I thought this would be a pretty cool way to show you guys the sledgehammer. Let's get to it.
Now, to come back and answer our question, let's look at the answer that the judges were looking for. And the answer is about 10 pounds. Whether you want to use an 8-pound, 12-pound, 15-pound, the average sledgehammer is about 36 inch. It has about a 36-inch handle, and it weighs about 10 pounds. And let's get to it. Now, let's go ahead and take bottled water for 200. If you use Fiji water, will my grounding be more sophisticated? Now let's talk about how you drive a ground rod with the bottle of water.
This ground rod with this bottle of water. No, not really. but watch this. Let's get to it. All right, let's see if we can do it. Pick a spot that doesn't look like it's going to hit something. Dump the water. Now I've hit some solid ground. Typically I'll stop about 4 feet and drive it with the rod because I don't want it to be able to slip in and out. Because depending on your situation, you can pull them in and out. And I want better, connection than that to the earth. I've hit something solid. I'm going to pound it in so I do have that connection. But you can drive a ground rod with a bottle of water. Let's get to it.
Now let's take a look at the answer that the judges were looking for. If I use Fiji water, will my grounding be more sophisticated? Only if your pinky's up while pouring the water. So remember, if you want your grounding electrode system to be more sophisticated, make sure when you're dumping that Fiji water, you have your pinkies up. Now let's go ahead and take a look at hammer drill for 300. Will any hammer drill do? Can you use a hammer drill? What are we talking about here? Let's take a look.
All right, so let's imagine that we're out in this yard and we didn't bring our brute strength with us today and we just wanted to use a tool. We would use a tool like this. So whether it's Bosch, DeWalt, Hilti, doesn't matter what it is, or Milwaukee, of course, doesn't matter what it is, you can use a drill like this to do it. What you're going to do is buy an attachment like this. And this is a ground rod driving tool. You can get them in different shapes, forms, and all different sizes. And then we're going to be able to drive our ground rod. But you can utilize the water bottle method at the same time as this one. And often you're still going to have to bring out your sledgehammer to drive it. But get it started with your water bottle, get up on your ladder or whatever you're using, drive it down as far as you can. And then, of course, if you have to, you can use the sledgehammer to finish the job.
Now let's see what our chimpanzees were looking for. No, you must have some type of SDS or spline or equivalent. So it has to have a larger chuck and obviously enough power to do the work. Now let's go ahead and take post driver for 400. If I use a post driver, will it make me less of a man? Let's take a look at how to use a post driver.
All right, y'all, this is what we're talking about here on this one. This is a post driver. It's just a hollow tube, pretty heavy, I'd say 10 pounds at least, and you pick it up and you sling it at it. And apart from being terribly loud, it does work, but I've never driven one all the way in the ground. And if you look at it logistically, you're only going to be able to get it within 2 feet of the ground.
for the simple fact that it's about 2 foot tall. So 18 inches to 2 foot tall. So you're only going to be able to get it within 2 foot of the ground, while at the same time, you kind of look silly, sound silly out on the job. Not that you can't use them, but at the same time, you're going to have to bust out the sledgehammer in order to finish this one up.
Now let's look at the answer that the judges were looking for. It depends on what you're wearing at the time of installation. If you're wearing something like this, maybe. If you're wearing something like this, probably not. And let's take heavy equipment for 500. If I borrow a piece of heavy equipment from the city and bring it back, is it considered stealing? Let's take a look at driving ground rods with heavy equipment.
All right, Sean, this is what we're talking about here. Whether we're talking about the one on the left using some type of post hole driving attachment, or we're talking about the truck on the right designed to drive ground rods and service all of that situation. You also could just use the end of a bucket to drive it in. And there may be a lot more ways to do it. Some of you guys who are more familiar with heavy equipment, you can please drop it down in the comments below. But either way, it's probably the fastest way to do it. If you've got a truck, I do not recommend stealing the city's truck or stealing anybody's piece of equipment for that matter to get the job done. But if you know somebody who's got one, or if you own one, or you have the availability to get one, I highly recommend using it if you can.
All right, let's look at the answer that our chimpanzee judges were looking for, and it's most likely going to be considered stealing if you are borrowing, quote borrowing, a piece of equipment from the city, even if you bring it back. Now let's take a look at Asteroid for 300. So are Asteroids UL listed to drive ground rods with? Let's talk about driving a ground rod with an Asteroid. Is it possible? Are we pulling your leg? Let's find out.
All right, everyone, and this is what we're talking about here. Pretty natural. I don't share this footage with everybody. This is actually real footage of me jogging on an Asteroid. And those two tubes that are coming out near my waist are not air tubes like they look like. They're actually around my back. I have two holsters, and I have two paraclines stuffed back in there, and I keep them on a leash so I don't drop them, in space. But this is me, and we were heading to Earth, getting ready to drive a ground rod. But this is what happened when we got there. And if you look really close down on there, you can see a teeny tiny UL sticker on that Asteroid. So I don't know how they get them on there, but they're just good, right?
All right, let's look at the answer here. Yes, according to Section 123.321.145, Section 45, 45, 45, 45, 54, 54, asteroids are UL listed for driving ground rods. That is it for our show today. I hope you guys learned a little bit, and I hope that this video added a little bit of value to you, and you will in turn add value to others. I am the Electrical Code Coach, and if there's anything I could do to help you in life or business, you can always just email me at electricalcodecoach@gmail.com. Let's get to it.